Jesus really does leave the 99 and go after the one. Welcome to Deeply Connecting. This is where we are on a journey together to learn to connect more deeply with God and others. And I was studying the passage on the road to Emmaus recently, and so something that's crossed my mind in the past is, why did Jesus only appear to the disciples a few times after he rose from the dead? Like, what was he doing during all those other times? Like, I would have expected him to be with his disciples more and kind of training them more in what's going to be happening next. And but he doesn't. He appears and then he disappears and then he reappears and he disappears. And I'm like, what is up with that? And I was studying the road to Emmaus recently, and so progression of things from Luke 24 is so after the resurrection, Mary was at the tomb, then the others came and left, and Mary saw Jesus and told the others, and then Jesus met with Peter. Side bracket here, check out Luke 24. So often I hear preachers say that the first time where Jesus and Peter really have their reconciliation moment is when Jesus multiplies the fish, or gives them a big catch on the beach, and then Peter swims ashore, and then Jesus says, "Peter, do you love me? Feed my sheep. Peter, do you love me?" The 3 times, "Peter, do you love me?" And so many people teach that was when the reconciliation happened. As I was reading Luke 24, I noticed that it actually says that Peter and Jesus had already met together before the folks on the road to Emmaus came back to the 12, and then Jesus showed up to all of them. Jesus had already hung out with Peter, and I personally believe, we can find out when we get there, that is when Jesus and Peter had their reconciliation moment separately. And I imagine Peter was crying out to Jesus, like, "Forgive me, I'm so sorry." And Jesus was like, "No worries, like, I understand, I forgive you." Maybe not no worries, but "I forgive you." And really got reconciled there, because otherwise Peter would not have been as excited to see Jesus if he felt like Jesus might be holding that against him from when he denied him. Anyway, side note, back to the story. So Jesus on the road to Emmaus met up with these guys, went through the scriptures with them, probably spent like 3 or 4 hours with them on their journey going through the scriptures. I imagine that these guys were probably gifted in teaching. They have the gift of teaching, and that's why Jesus was going through all these things with them, so that they could then teach the others just all these scripture points of how Jesus was fulfilling everything from the Old Testament. So Jesus appears to them, and then when they get to their house, like, they're leaving Jerusalem all bummed. Dang it, we thought Jesus was the Messiah. Guess he's not. He died. Going back home. Oh well, so much for that. Jesus appears. Once they realize it's him, they're like, "Holy cow, we need to get back to Jerusalem and tell the others." And so they come back and tell the others, and then the others say, "Hey, Jesus and Peter already met up, and like, yeah, he's risen." And then Jesus comes and meet with all of them. And it just strikes me how these unnamed people on the road to Emmaus were so important to Jesus. Like, he came to bring them back into the flock. He left the 99 to go get these 2. And then it struck me that that's probably what he was doing during those times when he wasn't hanging out with the disciples. He was probably going around to all the flock that had been scattered when the shepherd was struck. There's a verse that says, "Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter." And so now, as a good shepherd, he's going around to those scattered sheep saying, "Hey, I'm risen. Come back to the fold. Be united. let me gather my sheep back up. Going after that one, going after that one, going after that one, leaving the 99 to go after the one. And yeah, that's just so precious that he does that. And I love that he gave that, what's it called? Parable of leaving the 99. And then he goes and does that after the resurrection, where he leaves the 99 to gather the sheep back up. And so he does that with us still today. And also, I think that he really wants us to do that with other people, like within his flock. If we notice somebody within the flock has left the sheepfold, to reach out to them, to go after them, to say, hey, what's going on? We miss you. To go after that, leave the 99, go after the one, because that's who he is. So I was thinking about that myself, asking him, Lord, is there anyone in my life that I need to do that with? That is that one sheep that has left the fold that I need to go after. So I would encourage you to do the same and connect with him in that way of his shepherd's heart, to go after that one. So hope this has been encouraging for you. Would love to hear in the comments how Jesus has met you in that way, either where you felt like you were the one that he went after, or that someone else went after following in his footsteps, or if he communicated to you someone for you to go after and to be his hands and feet in that way. Please comment below, and would love to have you join us on this journey of connecting more deeply with him and others. Click the subscribe button, and yeah, we'll see you next time.